Chosen One, the laughter has stopped. The mockery has turned to terror. The cruel entertainment they found in your suffering has become their worst nightmare. People are spiraling, spinning out of control, losing their minds, because you called out everything. They came for God's anointed, thinking it was a game. They organized against heaven's chosen, believing they were untouchable. They coordinated spiritual warfare against someone backed by infinite power, and now they're discovering what happens when mortals declare war on the divine. Point blank, the cosmic joke was never on you. It was always on them. And now the punchline is their complete and utter destruction, while you stand victorious, vindicated, and more powerful than ever before. A dark alliance formed against your divine mission, a coalition of spiritually bankrupt individuals who united for one purpose: to extinguish the light that burns within you before it could illuminate the darkness they've been hiding in for so long. At the center of this web sat the Puppet Master, an older karmic feminine energy, perhaps a mother figure or matriarch, someone who had been practicing manipulation through guilt and emotional warfare for decades. This entity understood the ancient arts of psychological control and had been training others in the dark craft of spirit breaking. The manipulation flowed through family lines like poisoned blood, passed down from generation to generation until it reached you. But here's what they didn't count on. Your spirit was never meant to be broken. Beside the Puppet Master stood the Enforcer, someone close to you who had been weaponized as a spiritual tyrant. This person's transformation from ally to enemy seemed sudden, but the corruption had been seeping into their consciousness for months, maybe years. They became cold, calculating, and systematically cruel in ways that defied their previous nature. The Puppet Master's strings were strong, and this Enforcer danced to every command. Surrounding these primary antagonists were the followers, fake friends and family members who chose sides against heaven's chosen. These spiritual cowards lacked the backbone to lead an attack, but possessed just enough darkness in their hearts to provide support, validation, and energy to those who did. They formed the chorus of mockery, the audience for your suffering, the witnesses to what they believed would be your downfall. Their method was sophisticated, guilt manipulation designed to make you question your own spiritual discernment, gaslighting campaigns that attempted to convince you that your divine gifts were mental illness, and systematic isolation protocols meant to separate you from any source of validation or support. Your spiritual discernment immediately detected their artificial unity and hidden agendas. While they thought they were fooling you, you were cataloging every inconsistency, every coordinated response, every suspicious timing. The assault against you wasn't limited to the physical realm. What you experienced was full-spectrum spiritual warfare, complete with active spellwork, binding rituals, and coordinated psychic attacks launched directly at your energy field. They performed ceremonies designed to bind your blessings, block your progress, and attach spiritual parasites to your aura. The surveillance you felt wasn't paranoia. They were monitoring your spiritual state to see if their curses were taking effect. When you felt watched, you were being watched by entities dispatched to report on your condition. Ceremony and sacrifice became their weekly rituals under moon phases specifically chosen to maximize malevolent impact. They coordinated these attacks through technology, using social media and online communities as digital altars where they could focus their collective intention against your divine mission. Their fundamental misunderstanding of spiritual law became their downfall. They thought darkness could overcome light through sheer force and numbers. They believed that their combined negative energy could extinguish the divine spark that burns within you. Your connection to Source created an impenetrable shield around your energy field. Every spell they cast, every curse they whispered, every malevolent intention they projected bounced off your divine protection like arrows striking titanium. The boomerang effect activated with supernatural precision. Every curse sent returned to sender with amplified force, carrying the full weight of cosmic justice. While they performed their little dark rituals, thinking they were powerful sorcerers, heaven was laughing at their ignorance. You don't fight source energy with basement-level witchcraft or overcome divine appointment with discount store candles and stolen prayers. During their most intense campaign against you, something extraordinary began happening in your consciousness. Your supernatural discernment activated with laser-like precision, allowing you to see through their manufactured drama with crystalline clarity. What appeared to others as random conflict revealed itself to you as the coordinated operation it actually was. Pattern recognition flooded your awareness like divine downloads streaming directly from heaven's servers. You began identifying the coordinated nature of their behavior with mathematical precision. The suspicious timing, the identical talking points, the way they seemed to know things about your private life that you'd never shared. Intuitive downloads started arriving in waves, revealing their true intentions and hidden alliances with stunning accuracy. You began receiving visions during meditation, dreams that weren't dreams, and sudden knowing that felt like memories of future events. Your third eye exploded with nuclear intensity, illuminating every shadow they thought they were hiding in. Strategic awareness flooded your consciousness as you realized this wasn't personal conflict at all. This was spiritual warfare, and you weren't just a participant. You were the primary target of a coordinated military operation designed to neutralize a threat they perceived in your very existence. Truth activation commenced like a reactor going critical. Every lie they told, every manipulation they attempted, every false narrative they constructed lit up in your awareness like neon signs. Prophetic clarity began downloading visions of how this entire situation would ultimately unfold, complete with specific details about their individual downfalls. Chosen one, the synchronicities that brought you here weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the forces behind timeline manipulation take notice. They fear our collective power. The question isn't whether you belong among us. The question is, how much longer will you let the Matrix delay the awakening that divine grace has already guaranteed? The Obsidian Inner Order is open. It has paywalls, yes. Those who stand with us give us ammunition to fight the Matrix manipulation systems. Paid members get free weekly group call, divine guidance, and quantum resistance training. But kicking a soul when they're down, that's something we cannot ignore. That's why you can access our Astral Atom newsletter for free. No paywall, no catch. This is bi-directional. You can reply to any message we send you. We'll read it, we'll hear you, and we'll get an answer to you. If you can support, we need you. If you can't, take what's free. Click the link in the description below now. Your authentic timeline begins here. Energy vampirism became their daily practice through deliberately created dramatic situations designed to drain your spiritual and emotional reserves. Crisis after crisis, emergency after emergency, each one demanding your time, attention, and energy until you had nothing left for your own healing and growth. The depth of their spiritual sickness revealed itself in how they responded to your suffering. They found genuine joy in watching you struggle and face adversity. Your pain became their entertainment, your tears their daily bread, your isolation their victory celebration. Their fundamental error was confusing your temporary trials with permanent defeat. They saw your moments of human vulnerability and assumed they were witnessing your spiritual destruction. They celebrated prematurely because they couldn't comprehend the difference between being tested and being broken. What they interpreted as your defeat was actually heaven forging you in the fire of adversity. While they laughed at your struggles, divine forces were removing everything from your life that wasn't serving your highest purpose. While they celebrated your isolation, Source was clearing space for the right people to enter your reality. Their spiritual blindness prevented them from recognizing true spiritual power when it was standing right in front of them. They confused your compassion for weakness, your patience for defeat, your forgiveness for surrender. They had never encountered someone whose strength came from connection to infinite power rather than human ego and manipulation. Divine accuracy flowed through your declarations like lightning through a conductor. Every warning you gave about their character proved completely correct, with surgical precision. Every prediction you made about their behavior manifested exactly as you described. Every insight you shared about their hidden motivations was revealed to be absolutely accurate. Prophetic declarations poured from your lips, carrying supernatural weight that manifested in real time. When you spoke truth about their situation, reality itself began rearranging to match your words. The universe recognized the divine authority in your voice and moved heaven and earth to validate every syllable. Truth became your weapon, not wielded in malice or revenge, but deployed with the surgical precision of cosmic justice. Your honesty cut through their illusions like a spiritual sword forged in the fires of absolute reality. Lies that had been carefully constructed over months or years crumbled under the weight of a single truthful sentence from your lips. Public exposure followed your courage to speak truth openly. The moment you stopped protecting their reputation and started honoring your own integrity, their carefully constructed facades began collapsing. Your willingness to tell the truth publicly triggered an avalanche of revelation that buried their false narratives completely. Divine timing orchestrated every revelation to occur at the exact moment heaven ordained for maximum impact. Not too early when people weren't ready to hear it, not too late when the damage was already done, but at the precise instant when truth could do the most good and expose the most darkness. Once your truth was spoken with divine authority backing, no power on earth could stop its manifestation. Angels themselves began ensuring that every prophecy you uttered would come to pass exactly as you declared. The moment arrived when heaven itself had seen enough of their coordinated assault against one of God's chosen vessels. Divine intervention descended like thunder from the highest realms, and the spiritual atmosphere around your situation changed so dramatically that even people with no spiritual sensitivity could feel the shift. God personally stepped into your situation to defend his chosen representative on earth. This wasn't just cosmic law taking its natural course. This was the creator of the universe taking a personal interest in your welfare and declaring war on everyone who had dared to come against you. Karmic acceleration activated with supernatural force. The natural law of cause and effect, which usually operates over years or lifetimes, was compressed into weeks and months. Every action they had taken against you began producing consequences at light speed, with interest compounded daily. Protective covering descended around you like an invisible fortress that no weapon of darkness could penetrate. Angels were assigned to your case, not just guardian angels, but warrior angels tasked with ensuring that no weapon formed against you would prosper and that every tongue that rose against you in judgment would be condemned. Justice activation occurred in cosmic courts where your case was heard before the throne of universal law. The verdict was unanimous and absolute. Their attacks on you were officially classified as attacks on God himself, making them guilty of the highest form of spiritual treason. Energy reversal protocols engaged with mechanical precision. Every negative intention sent your way was redirected back to its source with amplified force. Every curse became a blessing for you and a burden for them. Every lie became a revelation of truth that exposed their character. Every attack became armor that strengthened your spiritual defenses. Heaven's verdict was final and irreversible. They had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, committed crimes against divine law that could never be forgiven without genuine repentance, and sealed their fate through their own choices. Mental breakdown epidemic spread through their network like a spiritual plague. The stress of maintaining their coordinated lies, the pressure of keeping their alliance intact, and the karmic backlash from their actions created a perfect storm of psychological collapse. Alliance destruction followed as their fake friendships and partnerships imploded spectacularly. Trust evaporated between co-conspirators as each began suspecting the others of betrayal. Paranoia infected their communications as they started believing that someone in their group was working as a double agent. Financial ruin struck with surgical precision. Unexpected job losses, sudden medical expenses, legal fees, and financial emergencies drained their resources and left them scrambling to maintain their basic lifestyle. The money they had used to buy loyalty and maintain their network disappeared as quickly as it had come. Health consequences began manifesting as physical symptoms of their spiritual sickness. The darkness they had been harboring started expressing itself through their bodies. Stress-related illnesses, mysterious ailments, and chronic conditions that doctors couldn't fully explain became their daily reality. Reputation destruction occurred through their own actions and words. Their true character was revealed to everyone around them without any intervention from you. Their mask slipped, their facade cracked, and the ugliness they had been hiding was exposed for all to see. They found themselves abandoned by the very people they thought they could count on, surrounded by fair-weather friends who disappeared the moment supporting them became inconvenient. Reality struck them like a cosmic freight train traveling at the speed of divine justice. Forced recognition dawned that they had severely underestimated your spiritual power. The person they thought they were destroying was standing stronger than ever, while their own lives were falling apart in real time. Scrambling for solutions became their full-time occupation as they desperately tried to understand how their carefully laid plans had backfired so completely. They consulted psychics, visited spiritual advisors, and sought answers from anyone who might explain how someone they considered spiritually inferior had somehow orchestrated their total defeat. Blame shifting commenced with frantic finger-pointing as their coalition turned on each other like rabid animals. Former allies became enemies as each tried to hold the others responsible for their collective downfall. The unity that had made them strong against you became the weakness that tore them apart from within. Spiritual poverty revealed itself as they realized they had no real connection to divine source or protection. Their religious facade and spiritual pretenses were exposed as empty theater when they needed actual spiritual power to defend themselves. Regret and remorse began creeping into their consciousness as some started understanding the magnitude of their error, the weight of what they had done, who they had attacked, and what they had brought upon themselves started crushing their spirits under unbearable guilt. Divine confusion descended upon them like the Tower of Babel. Their ability to communicate effectively with each other was disrupted. Plans fell apart due to miscommunication. Strategies failed because of misunderstanding. Their coordinated assault devolved into chaotic panic as heaven confused their language and scattered their unity. Mirror manifestation activated as they began experiencing exactly what they had tried to do to you with amplified intensity. The isolation they had orchestrated for you became their reality. The financial stress they had attempted to create for you manifested in their lives. The reputation damage they had tried to inflict on you was visited upon them with compound interest. Amplified consequences struck because their punishment had to exceed their crimes. This is the price of attacking one of God's anointed. Their suffering was magnified beyond what they had intended for you because they had committed the unforgivable sin of coming against heaven's chosen vessel. Public humiliation replaced the private suffering they had tried to impose on you. While they had attempted to destroy your reputation quietly, their destruction was displayed for all to see. The same mockery they had directed at you in secret was now focused on them in public forums. Support system collapse left them without the help they had denied you during your time of need. The comfort they had withheld from you was now being withheld from them. The mercy they had refused to show you was absent when they desperately needed it themselves. Spiritual debt accumulated as they realized they owed a karmic price that could only be paid through genuine repentance and restitution. The universe had extended them credit for their evil actions, and now the bill had come due with interest that would take lifetimes to repay. While their world burned around them, your transformation was accelerating into something magnificent. Public validation arrived as everyone began acknowledging that you had been right about everything from the beginning. People who had doubted your word were now apologizing for their blindness. Those who had questioned your spiritual discernment were now seeking your guidance. The very individuals who had sided against you were now asking for your forgiveness and protection. Spiritual authority recognition spread throughout your community as your prophetic gift became undeniable. Your ability to see through deception, predict outcomes, and speak truth with divine accuracy could no longer be dismissed as coincidence or lucky guessing. You were acknowledged as someone with a direct connection to Source. Divine promotion manifested as heaven elevated your platform and expanded your influence. Opportunities that had been blocked during their assault suddenly opened. Resources that had been withheld were now flowing freely. People who had been turned against you were now drawn to your light like moths to a flame. Resource restoration commenced as everything they had tried to steal or block was returned with interest. The money, opportunities, relationships, and resources that had been damaged during their campaign were being repaired and multiplied by divine intervention. Inner peace victory demonstrated your divine nature through your ability to maintain love and forgiveness even toward those who had wounded you so deeply. Your capacity to find joy despite their assault, peace despite their chaos, and love despite their hatred proved that your spirit was connected to infinite Source. Chosen One confirmation arrived through this very victory, serving as undeniable proof of your special calling. The fact that you not only survived their coordinated assault, but emerged stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before, revealed the truth about who you really are and why you're here. Your individual victory was never just about you. It was a harbinger of something far greater unfolding across the spiritual realm. Universal triumph for all spiritually awakened beings manifested through your success. Your victory opened portals of possibility for every chosen one who has ever faced similar attacks. Your breakthrough became their breakthrough. Your vindication became their vindication. Light network activation occurred as chosen ones worldwide began experiencing simultaneous victories over the forces that had been oppressing them. A cosmic shift was happening, and your triumph was both a symptom and a catalyst of this greater transformation. Spiritual evolution accelerated as this collective victory marked humanity's decisive shift toward higher consciousness. The old paradigms of manipulation, control, and spiritual warfare were being dismantled and replaced with new structures based on truth, love, and divine justice. Divine community revelation brought true spiritual family members into your life while removing those who had been pretending to belong. The attacks had served to separate the wheat from the chaff, revealing who truly carried divine light and who had been masquerading as spiritual beings. Generational breaking shattered ancestral curses and family patterns that had been operating for decades or centuries. The trauma cycles that had been passed down through bloodlines were permanently severed through your victory. Future generations would be born free from the spiritual bondage that had plagued your family tree. New earth manifestation became visible as a new spiritual reality emerged where light always defeats darkness, truth always exposes lies, and God's people always emerge victorious in the end. Your triumph was proof that this new paradigm was not just hope, but reality. The whole world can now see what heaven always knew. You are chosen, you are protected, you are victorious, and you are absolutely unstoppable. The joke was never on you, it was always on them. The victory was never in question, it was always yours.